we are going to be talking about a few technical difficulties that they've had, and it goes against our compliance things. So we like to maintain that ambiguity, not to disclose way too much information when it comes to that. So company X was someone who came to us because their website got hacked. And then that led to their emails getting hacked, and then their entire domain got blacklisted. So their whole company was not able to receive, I mean, all of their users were not able to receive any of their emails. They weren't able to access anything. Basically, their whole system shut down. And they were getting their mail and all other IT things from a third party vendor, which brought up a lot of difficulties because it doesn't quite bring that support, and it doesn't bring that much of a up-to-date resolution. So that's when they reached out to us, and we helped them to, first of all, one, sort out their website hacking and make sure that that was okay. And secondly, it was to set up their entire email and productivity suite for the company. And that whole thing was done in a frame of 48 hours.
And for
So,
sorry to interrupt you,
mhm.
Stephanie, but just for anyone on the call, can you explain what blacklisted means and how that can affect a company?
Right. So when your website gets hacked, it immediately sends out a warning like that the servers that you're using is not secure. So if I try to go on to, let's say, abcd.com and that was hacked, that website is not secure. So when I try to log on or when I try to get to the website, it basically says that it's not a secure website. So when that happens, it's basically like a domino effect. So it starts with the website, then it goes to your domain name, and it affects your entire business, your online business on its own.
And that could affect
So
day-to-day
when
operations
Mhm.
too, right?
Yeah, it does, because it limits your operations, because the moment your domain or your website gets blacklisted, then you're not able to work with your internal team as well, because it's linked to your domain. And that's not what a lot of people understand, is that all of your online presence is actually linked. So if any of your online entities gets hacked, it affects your entire, like as a whole, it affects your entire organization and your entire online presence. So anyone trying to reach out to, let's say, company X is going to get this disclaimer that the site that you're trying to reach is not secure, which is what I'm sure many of us have also seen when we try to go to websites that are not secure. So this is what it leads to. It's like it's prone to hacking.
Yeah, I know. And that's always a big frustration I know of mine is whenever I go to a website and all of a sudden it's a white screen telling me that it's not secure and it's supposed to be, a business that's been around for a long time. And it just gives that kind of like
Right.
ick feeling.
Mhm. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what happens. It's see, it's also not only does it disrupt the business interactions, it's also kind of harmed your credibility as well, because you don't know how many people within the time that your website got hacked till you're fixed, you don't know how many people have tried to maybe get in touch with your company through your online portal, and they've seen that message, and it's very unlikely that you'll go back and reach out to this company ever again. Like as a consumer, from an end consumer perspective, like if you got that warning once, you're not going to try to do that again. So,
Right. It's like you take it for face value and move along.
yeah.
With a
But what
2-day
happens with that is that, sorry.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask, with the 2-day turnaround, because they had reached out to you, Can you maybe go into detail about what the difference would be if they hadn't reached out to you?
So, see, one of the big things is that if they had reached out, and they did obviously try to reach out to their service providers, but what happens with those direct customers, or even if you're with a third party vendor, it does take a while for them to get back to you, which is completely understandable because I'm sure they also have like a certain workload, which is why companies like Google have partners like InfiFlex in place so that we provide them with a better solution faster. But then if you have like, let's say, private servers or with other companies, or you don't have a partner, it takes a longer time for that to turn around. And it's just a longer process to go through. And let's be honest, most of their response things are going to start off with an AI responding to you. And I don't think that, when your business is crashing, you would want to actually talk to an AI.
Right.
So with
I would want
InfoFlex,
a
yeah,
face-to-face interaction or a real
yeah,
human.
right. So with InfuFlex, what we did manage to do is first of all figure out what the problem was, and then fix that. That takes a bit of time, and then migrating them into Workspace, which is a basic turnaround time anyway. Through moving them onto Workspace, and because we knew that they had these problems, we have um, not just the preliminary things, but also advanced settings in place so that this doesn't happen again.
Can you go into detail about, those new settings that you helped create that I guess act as a big
Right.
brother for their system?
Right. So when it comes to Google Workspace, it functions from a security perspective, in multiple layers. So it's like if I have a spamming problem, it's not just you toggle a button and the spamming is done, and that's not going to affect me anymore. There are multiple things that you can make sure that that never happens again. The problem with what I've seen with a lot of customers is that using our personal Gmail accounts, because we sign up for so many things randomly because everyone asks for your phone number and your email ID, right? So you put in
Right.
your email ID and you're used to that spam. You unsubscribe or you put it into your spam, and that works fine when it's your own account. But when it's a company account, that is a whole organization's data that is coming into risk when you're doing that. So with the workspace, you are correcting that on a domain level. Like that mail doesn't even reach your inbox. So it's not about one button. It's about there's like 1, 2, 3 things that we can fix, and we can make sure that our tech team ensures that we have this in place so that you don't have this security issue at all occurring.
So it's like adding additional layers around, their actual infrastructure.
Yeah. It's
And that's
basically like fencing your house, but then let's have like 7 fences around our house. They can maybe jump through one, but will they really jump through 7? It's like that. So
yeah, it's like having a fence, but still having that electric fence with it.
yep. Oh yeah, electric.
Yeah. And just kind of going based off of that security feature, that is included with Google Workspace, right?
Yes, that is included with every single plan that's there, because every Google Workspace license comes with an admin console. So essentially, your organization has an admin console, and you have one admin who is in charge of that. And we make sure that we have all of these things in place. And when we're setting up this entire ecosystem for your organization, we talk the people through it as well, so that it's not just us doing something and you have no idea what we're doing. Like you're watching us, what we're doing, and we train them as well, so that they are aware of the changes that we're making. And if in case they need to do it, they know how to go about it. And companies on a whole tend, unless it's a conglomerate, they don't tend to have like a dedicated tech team to deal with these things because you don't necessarily need it. But with the changing times and the amount of online data that's available, and with online security being what it is today, maybe a lot of companies don't see the need to hire people to specifically do that. That's where companies like NFFlex come in because we have a dedicated team that will do that for you. So you don't need to hire specific people. You don't need to go through all of that thing because like we've got that with the license and everything. We've got the settings, and also if we will walk you through all of the steps that we're going through. So in the future, if you want to change them, like it's absolutely like the knowledge is right there. So,
Yeah, or even too, if they have like their own IT department, it could free that space up for their IT people to focus on a bigger project rather than on something so simple as to train, their admin or HR on a new, Google Workspace system.
yep. Because the companies that do have an IT team, they require it for their organizational needs. So apart from having to hire new people, like that's the whole point. You just have to have one person, and then we will take care of the rest of it. So the license comes with the admin console, which is already taking care of your organization. And secondly, it comes with IndyFlex backing you up on any other requirements that you might have, starting from educating your current employees as to how to work about it, and then providing support going forward as well.
Now, I know whenever I'm talking to, a business who's reached out just for, say, informational needs, and they ask me, I'm already using Google, so like, what would be the biggest difference in me switching over to Google Workspace and the benefits? And one thing I like to discuss is the different aspects of form and sheets that are utilized in Google Workspace.
Um, so I think what your customers are using is the free version, which works fantastic when you're using it on your own. But as an organization, you want to protect your data. No matter which department you're working in, we are all building in data. So, I mean, we're all gathering data and we're working on so much of information and everything is online. So, you don't want that to be just, um, for a better word, just accessible to anyone. What a workspace does is that it brings all of your employees under the domain, under the umbrella of your domain. So any changes that you make on a domain level applies to all of the users. That comes from restricting files to restricting certain words in emails that they can't send out, or even letting certain departments send information out. Like the easiest example, I think, is maybe the finance department cannot send out mails, but they're in the mail body, it has a credit card number. Let's say it has the word credit card. You can actually set a rule that no one with the mail body that has credit card, they can send that mail out. Or you can limit it to a certain department, or you can even limit it to the format of how a credit card number should look like. So the security, again, it is so layered that when, again, every organization's need is not the same. So it depends on the industry that we're dealing with and if they've had these problems before. So we set up those rules accordingly. And but more importantly, because of our tech team that is also Google certified and they have this knowledge there, So they also understand that, okay, this industry, I've seen like, 1, 2, 3, 4 problems. So I will already set this up for you before. So you don't have to go through that before we have to do this. So prevention better than cure. That's the
Yeah, definitely. And another thing too to add to that with the Google Workspace is whenever you're utilizing that, you can actually work offline and not have to worry about resyncing or backing it up, right?
Mhm. So yeah, Google does allow to work offline. And the great part of that is you lose your internet connection, you can continue working on your files and everything. And the moment that your internet connects back again, everything syncs on its own. It's not like the 90s where you have to go control C and, save everything. Like Google just does it on its own.
Or you have to put in a floppy disk.
And
Yeah.
just to add, Jackie, to your point, essentially, because Google was built on the cloud, like it is a product that was built for the cloud, the files are of a smaller size in general. So it actually takes up much, much less internet bandwidth. So even if you're working in a place which is very common with remote workers or people who don't come to office that often, even if your bandwidth is a little shaky, like Google will still make sure that because the files are so because of the files are so less in storage, it actually works much faster compared to the other operating systems out there.
Yeah, and it also helps in, daily tasks, calendar reminders, sending out emails, mass blasts like that as well.
Right. So that actually brings me to the second use case that I wanted to talk about. So this was a company that didn't have a security concern. They didn't have any pain points. Like we reached out to them, and after multiple conversations, we realized that they didn't actually have any issues other than the fact that their employees just wanted a better solution because they were scaling up and they wanted that scalability with their operating system as well. So that's where Google comes in because one, we have such a young workforce. Like we're all used to using Gmail since we were in school. You have that ease of adoption. Second is with Google, I know when I wake up, when I start work in the morning, I log into my mail and everything else is just there. Um, my chat, my meet, all of my productivity tools, everything is there. So, one, that allows for more productivity. And second, it allows for more security. Because when you talk about having 2 or 3 different providers, let's say for example, let's say Zoom and then Slack and so, right? If you have 2 or 3 more other providers, what it does is your employees are expected to remember their sign-in IDs and passwords, right? So either they will have something so generic that is easily hackable, or the other thing is that they'll forget it. So again, human error, you have to account for human error.
Yeah, and
That
that
just
is
increases the
why I was going to ask you, whenever that is one
Mhm,
of the differences between, a free email and then using something like Google Workspace.
mhm,
So, for example, if a company is using free Google, which is still,
mhm.
fine. But whenever you are using something like Google Workspace, say an employee forgot their password, is it easier to maintain those and update the security features?
So when it comes to security on that part, like let's say if I forgot my password, I just let the admin know. Either he resets it to a generic one that I can sign in and then I'll change it. or he'll give me access, depending on how the company runs. So Google gives that flexibility as well. And along with that, let's say, for example, I lost my phone and I got a new phone, and I'm trying to sign into my work ID from my new phone. So automatically an alert is going to go to the admin saying that a new device is being used. So as per your company security settings, you can set it to like you don't allow anyone to use a new device, or you set it with a approval from the admin, or set it with a warning. So again, that's where the Google layers come in, like how their security works.
And whenever companies are scaling, how does
Mhm.
adding employee IDs work, or adding additional emails? Are they able to do it themselves? Do they have that customer
So
service aspect still?
see, when it comes to that, it'll be like, oh, if a company is scaling, you know that you will have more volume of business. So one, you need more security because your clients are also depending on you for that confidentiality. And second, you want to protect everything that your employees are doing. So when it comes to workspace, it's as simple as if you have even 500 employees and you want to add all of their user IDs, it's as easy as uploading an Excel. That's how it is. And you upload all of their devices, their device MAC IDs, and it's done. Like it actually takes around 2 hours to set up. And as in how new employees come in, and even if you have a high turnaround in an employee ratio, that really does work well because it's not so much work that you have to do. It's basically like removing someone from a WhatsApp chat group, basically. It's as simple as that. So,
Yeah, definitely sounds like, the hospitality industry, they have a really high turnaround rate. So it sounds like something they would definitely need. But going with how, easy it is to upload or import like Excel docs, Google Sheets, whatever it might be, for example, how easy would it be to integrate Google Workspace into, as a business is scaling, like a content management system or a client relationship management system?
okay. So from the Google Workspace part, I can honestly say it's all of your employee information is usually already like the company has it in a sheet or in a format. Or maybe that would be just the initial part to do it because it's just like an import icon that you have to click on, and it's a format sheet that autofills from Excel or even Sheets. So companies usually have that, and once you do that, and it imports, and then the AI takes care of the rest. So that is done on Google's backend servers and everything. So that is sorted. That is less than 5 minutes. And when it comes to integrating to CMSs, it's Google API works with almost anything on this planet. Like it was built to work with anything on this planet. But I think when it comes specifically to integrating Google API with the InfiFlex CMS, I think you'd be better to explain that part. Like how easy is Google to integrate with Jiffy?
So how I like to explain it is Jiffy's really simple to use. So I don't have a technology background. Um, I've learned through sales and demos and, um,
Mhm.
yourself and other peers of mine. So for me, utilizing a content management system whenever I'm talking to clients, I like to refer it back to, businesses like to get their brand out there right away whenever they start. They need something to say they're established, they have their feet on the ground, and, they are professional. But what they utilize is like, um, free services out there, and I'm not going to name any names, but there are some big ones, obviously, where you can build a free website, and it's fine in the beginning, but whenever you start scaling and growing and actually building your business, all of that data needs to go somewhere, right? So that
Yeah.
content management system basically just keeps all of that information for you. For example, Jiffy, which is our flagship product. But
Yeah.
so Jiffy, it's a content management system as well as, custom application development and client relationship management, your CRM. But on the website or content management system side, I don't need any technological background to be able to do a simple update to my website or input, say I want to start selling t-shirts or whatever it might be. I can easily upgrade my website to incorporate that e-commerce side, have payment integrations, and then also all that data now is organized and I can start scaling even more.
Being someone who's been using Jiffy since 2021, it is actually because it's a no-code platform, right? So it allows you to make changes because every organization's needs is different. So it allows you to make those changes, and you don't actually have to know code to make those changes. Like, it's just that simple. Like, you click certain things and it's done. And if you need that assistance, like the team here at NVFlex is here for that.
Yeah, exactly. I know as much as I need to know, and then anything that goes any deeper, I know I have the support on the other side where I don't have to do it myself, or you can show me how to do it.
Exactly. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've been telling customers about why they should move to partner companies is that everyone doesn't necessarily have the tech backup. So we have that experience. Like, all of our sales team members are Google certified. All of our tech team members are Google certified. So, we know what we're doing. So you don't need to do it. We're here for that. And the best selling point, I think, is that if you ever have a problem, like, you have a human person who is aligned with you, your account manager, who you can call and have a conversation with, versus, like, talking to an AI. Like, I've had a customer wake me up at 6 a.m. in the morning because their email, there was an issue, and their whole email server went down. So, as much as I don't appreciate being woken up at 6 a.m., but it's still like he had my number. Like, he knew that this is a person who I could call, and she will make sure that this happens. And our tech support works 24/7. So I know that they will handle it. Imagine waking up at 6 a.m. and anyway your company cannot function because your servers aren't working, and then you have to deal with AI just
Yeah,
to voice out your concerns. So
you're already frustrated enough that this happened. I think people
yeah.
don't realize email is an actual issue. Like, it is a very big issue for companies. If something happens, I'm not able to access it. I know I just did quite a few migrations myself for a few different companies, and there is so much detail that actually goes into making sure emails are saved and functionable and everything is migrated correctly or secured correctly even. Not everyone realizes that, and if one thing goes wrong, it does interrupt the business's
Yes.
every day-to-day operations, whether it's sales, outreach, inbound, whatever it might be. That 2-3 hours that system's down, it affects their ROI in every aspect, or even just revenue.
Yep. And see, the problem is that no one thinks that these little things matter, but then they actually do. You don't think
Yes.
that they matter till it comes up as a problem to you. But what if you could have something that, protected you from it before you even knew that it would be a problem? So
Right. And,
the,
don't get me wrong, not
Mhm.
everything is perfect or will ever be perfect, but at least you have the extra security blanket just in
Yeah.
case something happens.
Yeah. Exactly. And it's as simple as so one of our clients who we've had at InfiFlex for a few years, um, I think one of their top level employees left and not on such good terms. So when he was leaving, he deleted everything, like from his meals to his entire drive, all of that. Now, there is a way of recovery, but if he deletes everything outright, you can't necessarily get it back. There are certain parts, but Google also has this thing called Google Vault, which basically means that any any information that I've ever, any of my docs, files, anything that I've ever created, any mails that have landed in my inbox or that I have sent out, there is a copy of that saved. So it's called Google Vault, and the vault is not restricted to storage at all. Like, it does not affect your company storage. You could use Google for the next 20 years of your life on, like, say 30 GB, and it works. And there could be like 1 TB of data in your vault, but the storage doesn't count. It's just like a security blanket, like you said. So it was there. It doesn't matter what I delete out of anything, like there is a copy of that there.
Yeah.
So
Especially,
that's what a lot of companies, like, yeah, you don't really think of it till it happens to you. But wouldn't it be nice to know that whatever is happening in my company, I know that that's there, it's saved.
yeah, especially your client, unfortunately, literally had every company's nightmare happen to them. And, it was like they fortunately had, Google Vault, and they had
Mhm.
a panic room or a safe room of their information.
Yeah. Oh, that was my quickest call ever to solve a solution. Because they called me in the panic. They were like, "Oh yeah, no, he just left. He deleted everything." I'm like, "Wait, you have Google Vault. Got this. We got this. Don't worry." It was just that quick.
Yeah.
So
And I'm,
necessarily they didn't remember that they had that, but I was like, "No, no, no, it's okay. Google's got you." So
yeah. And rather than them, panicking if they were doing it by
Mhm.
themselves, they had you and you already knew the solution. So, it was an instant, easy fix rather than, the alternative where, it could have been an entire rebuild for the company.
Yeah, and see, disgruntled employees can do a lot of damage. So, like, it could have gone wrong in so many ways, but it's just that they had this in place already. It's not that they expected one of their employees to do that, but it's again security blanket.
Just a fail
You
safe.
don't want to need it, but it's good to have it there.
Yeah, exactly. It's just another fail safe, and just providing your own initial, just like peace of mind. You know, if these things are going to happen, how can I proactively, you know, put something
Yeah.
in place? And that's another thing too that I like to discuss with, any partner, client, even future client of mine is a lot of times businesses think of technology as a cost or a waste of their investment. But especially with this
Yeah.
day and age with hackers and, evolving technology, it's actually an investment. So can you maybe
Yeah.
elaborate more on that?
So, what I was talking to you about, like the case study too, that was there, like they didn't have any problems other than their employees just wanted scalability. But once, okay, once we convinced them and they were on board and we were actually deploying this for them, So we had their team sitting with us, right, while we were setting up and all the settings and making sure the security on place were in place. So then they're like, "Oh, really? I didn't know that I needed this. I didn't know that this was possible." So it's just like it's good that you've never needed it, but it's nice to have that in place because a security threat is such a big thing right now. Like there's a whole industry on, and there are governments dedicated to saving against cybersecurity, right? So why wouldn't you safeguard your company? And that also brings up a very, I guess, credibility with your clients as well. But you know that I know my systems are secure, so whatever you share with me is going to be safe as well. So that was a big thing. And just the fact to sit down and explain to these certain members of his team that you can do one, two, three, four, five, it's it was easy. And it wasn't just the setup, it's even after that, like we've had clients come back that, okay, we saw this new Google update, like how can we implement it and what can we do about it? It's like, all right, okay, we'll do that with you. Because we get these updates as well, so we know how this works. And the team obviously keeps getting recertified as well. So we have continuous training with the clients as well. That, I mean, obviously we have got your back, but for your knowledge, this is how it goes.
Yeah. And that's like the entire technology industry is, you know, there's continued education because of all of
Yeah.
the updates and innovations and, new AI, whatever it might be. It's
Yeah.
kind of becoming similar to the healthcare industry in a sense where you constantly have to keep up with everything to make sure you know how it operates, you know how it
Mhm.
functions, you know the benefits, you know if it works for you or not.
Exactly. And the nice thing about having a partner company like us is like we have clients across so many verticals, right? So if you're like, let's say, a manufacturing company or you're in horticulture or any of those, and you ask us to do something, we want to do what you're asking. Is that we also have other clients and we've seen what they've gone through. So it's coming from a place of knowledge. So it's like, you know what, I've seen them go through this. So let me just put these checks into place also.
Yeah,
And we'll obviously tell
absolutely.
you that, okay, we've seen this. So we've got ABC in place for you as well before anything happens to you. So which necessarily your team might not know. Like, I mean, I wouldn't know so many things had I not been in this industry. So it's a learning curve for everybody.
Yeah,
So yeah.
definitely. I cannot tell you how many things I've learned since, starting not just with InfoFlex, but even just in my software journey alone. Like, there's always something new to learn every day.
Hmm. It really is. And I quite like the new Google update that's coming up with the AI. I mean, the smart AI is anyway there where the smart compose. But then now you have AI integrated into sheets and docs. So it just makes formulating and being organized so much easier. Like I am a meticulously organized person. So I appreciate this so much. It's like bare minimum and it's sorted. All of your
Yeah.
data and everything.
Any place that we can save time is so beneficial. So, like tasks, automation,
Mhm.
scheduling, reminders, whatever it might be, even just getting 5 minutes back, I can always use that time where I need it the most. Can you maybe share a little
And
insight on
yeah,
how the AI feature helps with that, or how Google Workspace helps with that too?
so AI as well as Google on its own, because when it comes to onboarding and even training new employees, see, we've all been using Google since we were in school, like Gmail and Docs and Sheets, and we've all been doing this for school projects. And We're used to it. So when you join a new company and this is what they're using, you have a certain level of comfort. Even with the training, like it just gets you going there faster versus a completely new tech. It's like, see, none of us want to mess up at our jobs, right? So you don't
Yeah.
want to come across stupid. So like, you don't want to do that. So with new technology, everyone is a little hesitant.
Hmm.
But when it's a user interface that you're so comfortable with that you've grown up with, the adoption becomes so much easier. And I've seen that happen with companies. So that's where the we're more productive because those 5 seconds, like, should I do this? Shouldn't I do this? Like that doesn't come because you've used Gmail.
Right.
So that and with AI now and the smart prompt, and we're anyway getting used to so many other AIs, but the Google AI, the Do It AI, which is going to be launched across next later this year, it works so brilliantly. So it learns as how you basically as simple as how you type. So I'm a person who says, "Dear ABC," and then I'm like, "Good morning," and then I start typing. So it learns from that. And the moment I start a mail and I put the name of the person at the senders list, it has the first three sentences ready for me, learning from what I've done. So, I mean, I know that's like what, 30 seconds saved of my time, but 30 seconds over a course of time, it does.
Yeah.
30 seconds,
Especially,
300 employees, it's a lot of time.
yeah. Or, if you're sending 50 emails a day, that still
Yeah.
adds up. Like, you don't think about how much time you're actually spending on, just simple things like that. And that goes back to, helping people get more comfortable with using it as well. It adapts to your personality or style per se. And, we were talking about this earlier. There are late adapters out there where it's not necessarily that it doesn't make sense, or it's not necessarily that it doesn't make sense to utilize something. It's just the fact that they're so used to what they're using. It's the fear of the unknown.
Yeah. See, this is where it's like you don't have to do anything different with Google. Like it is learning from what you're doing. So you don't have to do anything different for the AI to learn it. Like it's just learning from what you're doing anyway. So, and how much faster would our work lives be if I didn't have to type "Dear, good morning, greetings of the day," or whatever it was?
Right.
Like if
Yeah.
you didn't have to do that mundane part of it, like even you would feel more efficient, right? Like, all right, I just have to do like tell him 1, 2, 3, 4 points done. Next
Yeah.
email, 1, 2, 3 points done. So
Yeah. And that goes back to like being able to store things and like different templates. And I know I utilize that a lot. With, I do
so
a
it,
lot of outreach because I am in sales, and I'm sure you relate to this too. Just being able
yeah.
to have it all, a thank you, or, a recap of our meeting, just having like the meat and potatoes there, and then being able to adapt it to, what I need it to be able to. It helps save so much time, and it makes, my day-to-day processes so much easier.
Yep. But one thing I would like to just turn this conversation back is, the basic difference between using Google Workspace versus using the free email is the admin console.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't understand the importance of that. On an organization level, it's basically like the CEO of your tech. It takes care of so much from handling spam to right on to, let's say my sales team shouldn't be sending mails that has words like credit card, right? Or maybe social security number. Like why would your sales team need to have that?
Right.
You don't need to send or receive, and you can actually check word phrases in the body of the mail. And you can set this rule at the domain level, which is like either you send it, so you get three options, right? Either you send it to the intended person, like it'll come to my inbox with a warning, or it will go to the admin ID as quarantined, or the third option is it'll just not land at all. So if your company is at high security thing, just don't let them land at all. And you can be specific on those points. Like that's how layered Google is. And that's one of the things that I love about how the way that is built. It's so simple, but then when you go through it, right, you're like, oh wow, it does this too.
Or you're able to see like specific details as well. I know one thing I like to point out, especially for businesses, if they have like teams or different departments, is you are able to do reporting, and also too, you're able to see your team's journey inside of Google Workspace. So if someone accidentally, messes something up, you or myself
Yeah.
can go in there and actually follow it and see what happened.
So yeah, as a admin, you can basically see on the dashboard as simple as how long was I on my mail on every user basis, no matter how many users you have, it doesn't matter. And you can download a detailed report of that. How long I was on my inbox, how long I was in Drive, how long I was in meetings, what all files I shared. So it's that detailed, and you can get this on a per user per day thing that you can download and actually verify. So, and you can set up alerts as well. So let's say I'm not allowed to log into any other device for my work ID other than my laptop and my phone, right? So I have my laptop Mac ID, which is registered, and my phone Mac ID, which was registered when I joined the company. So if I use a different phone, immediately my admin is going to get an alert of a suspicious login. And remotely, they can erase your company's information off your phone because it's a company proprietorship, right? So it's
Yeah.
that
And
advanced.
then
It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and then that way you don't have to worry about, any information you don't want out there or shared with, unnecessary eyes per se, to look at things that you don't want to be seen yet. Or it's kind of like having your
In
own
fact,
personal like MNDA.
yeah. In
And I
fact,
know
it is so intricate that on the enterprise plans, you can actually limit people. Like if I'm using a workspace on my laptop, company laptop, I can do everything, right? But on my phone, I can't copy paste things or I can't view attachments. Like you can limit it to that because everyone can carry their phone around. So, and you cannot screenshot things. So it is that detailed, which is incredibly impressive.
yeah, and it just goes to
I've been using
show.
it, and even sorry,
Oh no, go ahead.
no, so I was saying that like I've been using it, and it is so impressive. Like I understand the price that comes behind it, but if I was a business owner, like, oh my God, if I had that control, like that is how much of control I have over the information that I don't want leaking out of my company.
Yeah, and also
So,
too, as a business owner, even just starting out, whatever you're creating or type of content, you don't want that out there specifically all the
mm,
time. And it just goes to show, it is truly an investment. It's not just, another cost for your company. It helps with, protecting your creative content, your branding, your ideas, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
and I know we just have a few more minutes here, but just to get more of your insights personally, like what are some more of your
Um,
favorite features?
I think mine, that's a very, very big list, but because I've been involved with this so much and I am biased towards it. So, but it's the levels of security, like, when so when we train our team, it's not about this is the solution. It's like this is the problem. And it goes like solution is one, solution two, three, four. We do all four. So it's like that. It's you start with the problem and then you get to the solution. So we don't talk about features. It's like, tell me what your issue is and we will solve for that problem. Like I've had a huge sales team that I've also trained, and it's always been that please ask them what the problem is because there is a solution. I've never come across in all of these years of working with Google that any one of my clients have ever come to me with a problem that we didn't have a solution to. And I think I like how their security is layered so much. And as complex as it sounds when we're talking about it, right? It is simple. Like, I don't have any background in tech at all. Like, I had to call my dad when I was younger, when he was like living in a different city, to be like, Dad, my printer's not working. I went from that to like, yeah, I can explain Google to anybody. So it is actually that simple. And it's amazing when you onboard a client and you're taking them through this process and you just see their faces. It's like, oh, really? You can do this too. And
Hmm.
it's like, oh, really?
You
It's just
kind of see like
this? It's like,
sparks in their eyes.
oh, it's like,
Yeah, and then they start
yeah.
like getting ideas, especially, people who are maybe on the fence about it. They start seeing
Mhm.
how they can utilize it, how it's saving them, time or helping them with automation or workflows or
Mhm.
communication, whatever it might be. And then, it kind of gives them their creativity back for other things.
Yeah. And again, like I said, 5 seconds, like, it doesn't matter for maybe one person, but think about 5 seconds across like 10 people or 50 people. Like, how much time are you saving there? Like, if you made anything easier, like you didn't have to do the mundane thing, you're anyway making them more productive. That they don't have to worry that they will mess up. You don't have to worry that they have to just type in, hey, good morning, and that. As simple as when I'm on a meeting with my team and my team is across the country, I don't even have to worry that they're not on the same page because I can bring my meeting onto the page and we're there together. So it's just these, little things that you don't necessarily think about and you don't plan for earlier. But when it works out, if you actually invest in that, it goes such a long way. So it's those little things. It's not, I think easily I can say workspace is not like a blast in your face, but it's like it sneaks up on you and how.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of like taking a first sip of hot chocolate, You wa- yeah, it
yep.
warms you up from the inside out.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And the fact that everybody's workforce is our generation, and again, we grew up with Gmail. Okay, I made school projects on doc and slides, so like I know slides. So if someone tells me to make a slide, it's like, yeah, I got it. I did it when I was in school. It's not hard now. So that
Yeah,
hesitation is gone and you have that confidence. So versus using a new thing.
yeah,
So
definitely. And it just goes to show, how evolving and, adaptable things are. And you just,
Mhm.
have to make sure it's the right fit for you.
Yep. And also that's where companies like Infiflex come in because see, you don't have to do it alone. Like we got it. That's why we're all here.
And also, too, that's
Like
why,
we're continuously. Hmm?
that's why
Sorry.
whenever, you are even just exploring the idea of switching over or, optimizing or going to the cloud digital transformation, that free consultation, that's just the first step. And it can never hurt you to just see, what's out there and how you can scale or how you can optimize or, how you can get your data into one place.
Yep. And one thing I guess a lot of people that I've dealt with is like, oh, I have so much of data. Would it be migratable? And it's like, this is why we're here. It's easy. You're not going to lose any data. Like, we guarantee that you don't lose data at all. Like, that's a company guarantee that you don't lose data. Like, that's how smooth the process is. It's And the amount of time that it takes for it to migrate is just based on how much of data you have. So no, we can't help on that front. That is the service loss on or anything on that. So it's just I guess when people think about operating systems and I guess I used to be someone like that earlier. It comes across as such a big thing and a technical thing that I have to understand, but it's really not. Like
Yeah.
you just have to mention what your company is doing, what you want to do, and basically like tell me where you want to see your company in 5 years, and I'll tell you how Google can help you with it. That's it. So
And I know we're a couple minutes over, but what's one last thing that you would like to leave everyone with?
be open to technology. It's not as intimidating as it actually sounds like.
That is such a
It's
true
really easy.
statement. That is so true.
Really isn't. I think you can attest to that as well. Like
I can. I
neither of
very
us
much
are
can.
tech, so yeah.
Um, before Infoflex,
But
before,
people, was there? Uh-huh.
oh, I was just saying
Sorry,
before
sorry. Yeah.
Infoflex,
Mhm.
before, any of my technology background, everyone has utilized Google in some way, shape, or form, whether it's searching images, whatever it might be. So everyone has a little bit of knowledge, whether they like it or not. But
Yeah.
in terms of technology, just the more you're open to it, the more it can benefit you in ways you may have like never even thought. But
But
thank
oh,
you.
actually, on that front, it's
Mhm.
with the things that I've seen with other companies happen, I really do feel like there are, let's be honest, hackers have way too much maybe time in their life and they're way too much more motivated. So it's better to, protect before you have to prevent it. Like yeah, prevent rather than protect. So
Yeah, that's true. It's
does
better
it
to have
also
everything kind of in safe
mm,
mode rather than
mm,
trying to put the pieces back together.
especially for like companies that are starting out, because like you're trying to build a name for yourself. If you already messed up on that front, like that's a harder slope to climb up.
Yeah, definitely. It's harder to rebuild that trust and,
Mhm.
peace of mind in your customers if, that's been
Mhm.
broken. And that's to say for any type of trust too, you know. But I really appreciate you being on here and, delving into this topic. I'm super excited to announce too that you will actually be helping co-host our next webinar as well. So if you have not followed InfoFlex or subscribed to our InfoPool series or a newsletter, please do so. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, and we have a YouTube channel as well where you can catch information, updates to our products, all of our information, or you can reach out to Stephanie, myself, or even just InfoFlex in general, our website, and we would love to have a conversation with you. So thank you, everyone. I hope you have a great day, and we will see you next month.
Sure. Yep.
Thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining.
We'll chat soon.
Yeah. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Have a great day.